I'm Chef Michelle. Welcome to Phantom Chef Virtual Cooking Class. We have a lot of requests for pretzel making, so that's what we're going to do today. To start with, we are using active dry yeast, and we need to wake that up in a little bit of warm water. Our warm water, I have a thermometer in here, is set between about 100 and 110 degrees. If you don't have a kitchen thermometer, just kind of feel the water. If it feels a little above lukewarm, you should be good to go. So we're going to put our yeast in there and a little bit of sugar. The sugar is going to help feed the yeast and wake it up. And we're just going to mix that together and give it a few minutes to bloom and wake up. So I'm just using a fork to kind of whisk that in. And once it's ready, we will start mixing our dough. So while this is waiting, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what else we're putting in here. We've got all-purpose flour, a little bit of melted butter, and some salt for flavoring. And that's it. That's all we need for this recipe. Our yeast is woken up, and we can see that by all the bubbles at the top of the measuring cup, and it's time to mix. So going into our flour, we are going to pour our yeast mixture. Just scrape it out with a spatula here. We are going to add our kosher salt and our melted butter. Now it's just time to mix. Once we are done mixing, we are going to move on to kneading the dough. Kneading the dough helps develop the gluten, and that's going to allow us to make our pretzels and have them stay together and get that nice chew that we're looking for in a soft pretzel. We have our dough. It came together. It's time to knead. So kneading works like this. We are trying to stretch the dough, so we use the heel of our hand, kind of push forward on the dough, fold back over, and then give it a little twist. So we're going to continue to do that process, and that's going to take our dough from a rough mixture to a bit more of a smooth mixture as it develops that gluten. And so once we're done kneading the dough, which should probably take about 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to set it aside in a bowl to do its rise. Yeast needs some time in a warm area to start working and to start developing the bubbles that rise our dough. We are done kneading, and you can see that we have a nice smooth dough now. And now our dough needs to rest, so we're going to make it into a nice ball. Set it aside in a bowl that's just oiled with a little bit of canola oil. We're doing that so that the dough, as it rises and gets more sticky, doesn't stick to the bowl. So we're just going to give that a little wipe with some oil. Put our dough right in there and cover with some plastic wrap. We're going to set it aside for an hour to rise in a nice warm spot. My dough is divided into 8 small pieces. I am going to start my pretzel making. So step 1, we need it to be in a nice long cylinder, and I'm just using gentle pressure to roll from the center toward the outsides. I'm not trying to press down too much or trying to pull at the dough because I don't really want to stretch it. I want to actually roll it into its shape. So I'm just kind of rolling along, and as I do, moving both hands out toward the outside, and I'm going to get it into a snake that is about the length of my cutting board, which is about 16 inches. And then once I have a nice long rope, pretzel making works like this. We go up to the top and cross them over, do a twist, and then pull them back down. I've now tapped in my assistant Jackson, who is going to roll out the rest of our pretzels. The first step of cooking pretzels is to boil them in some water for about 30 seconds. The water also has some baking soda in it. That helps with that brown color that we see on a soft pretzel. So I'm going to gently lower it into the pot. It's going to hang out in there. You'll see it swell just a little bit, and I'm using this great tool called a spider. That's going to help us lift it out gently out of the pot. So I'm going to count about 30 seconds. Just make sure our pretzel is in the water, and then we will go onto our baking sheet. Our final step is just to do a little egg wash. That's going to give us our nice sheen on our pretzels, and it also helps our salt stick to the dough. I don't have any fancy pretzel salt here, so I'm just using some coarse kosher salt today. All egg washed and salted, and we are going into a 450-degree oven to get their final bake. All right, that means our pretzels are done. Oh. And they are beautiful. Check out our nice brown color. They're puffed, they're delicious. And this is how we serve them up. On a nice plate with some classic yellow mustard. And now the final step and the most important step, taste testing. How is it? That's so good. That's it for pretzel baking. We'll see you back next time when we make some challah bread.